Okay, we're live. Hi, everyone out there. I'm Jennifer Sampou with Studio Sampou, and we're live today. It is the second Makers Chat, and this is my dear friend, Michelle Wyman.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
This is different today. I have never done a format live where we're live. We're live. We can touch each other.
Yeah.
We're right next to each other.
Yeah. And I get to look around the studio and see all these gorgeous fabrics.
Yeah, she's in the studio. She's in the art barn. And we are here to talk about your work today.
Yeah.
We're talking about Michelle's work, which is behind me. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to start. Can I just start and say
Absolutely.
a little bit about you?
Sure.
So Michelle, everyone's waving. Michelle, hi. So Michelle I've known for 6 years, and we are actually neighbors. We live in towns right next to each other, through the tunnel.
That's right, through the tunnel. I'm in Oakland.
Yep, she's in the hip part, and I'm in the quiet, little bucolic town, and she's in hip Oakland.
Yes. Yeah.
And we became friends because of quilting and because of color.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I took a couple of Jen's workshops when we first moved back to the Bay Area. And just was a huge fan, but to actually start working in person with her was just fantastic. So we've done some collaborations too, which is great.
Done collaborations. Michelle does her own work. She does commission work. She's also a teacher. So we have a lot in common. And when I had the new collection, you've done a few quilts with new collections.
Absolutely.
So she's one of my go-to girls. Go-to women.
Yeah.
When I get new stuff in,
I'm hooked. The fabric is so irresistible.
Yeah.
It's
beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
It really is. It's like painting with quilting, and there are painters in my family, my husband's family, and I have always been drawn more to textiles. And when the Sky collection came out, she's not paying me to say this, by the way, but maybe she'll give me some free fabric at the end of this. I just was blown away because it's artwork. It's artwork that Jen did that is digitally printed. It's gorgeous. It's incredible to work with. So a year ago, we were sitting out on your patio, and you said, "Okay, I've got 16 new colors coming out. What do you got? What would you like to do?" So I brought a few things.
Would you like to do something?
Yeah. Would you like to?
Would you like to do something?
Yes. And I said yes. And are you kidding? So one of the projects that I brought to Jen's attention is this gorgeous pattern.
Hold it right, yeah.
Yeah, can you see that, everybody?
Here, I'll hold it up.
Yeah.
Here it is.
So it's with Allison Glass and Nydia Kenley, and it's a paper piece pattern. And Allison, of course, used her solids, gorgeous solids. I was intrigued by the idea of using the ombres.
Yeah, these are all solids, right?
That's right. Yeah, and it's great if you've never done paper piecing. It's pretty clear. I'm not going to go into that part of it. I can talk more about the design choices that I made, but also you can do different sizes. So this size is wall hanging size. But what was really fun was the challenge of using all 16 colors.
Right, so that's one of the things we talked about.
That's right. Yeah. And there are a couple that I was going, brown? Is she kidding me? I mean, brown, really? And yet the bison, which you're going to see in different shades, because of course we ombre, is just sort of what holds a lot of these blocks together and allows the other colors to just pop and sing. So that was really, really fun. So basically what you're doing with this is you'll see when you get the pattern, there are just two blocks. Super easy.
One of them.
Yeah, A and B.
So this is A.
And this is B.
So it's so simple. And A is a mirror of B. So this might look complicated, but it's just the two blocks.
Exactly.
And when you paper piece, you get precision.
That's right. So you'll get this, and you'll print it out on, I use the Carol Dwok.
Carol Dokes.
Dokes. There you go. paper,
Safety
and I just
publishing.
it's fantastic. It's easy to use, and it tears out really easily afterwards. But basically, so I have a couple of blocks here that make sure you use a design wall when you're making this. I think it's really important.
Yeah.
I started, sewing the center pieces together, and then I would put them up on the design wall and just sort of audition the color combinations. These were 2 rejects, and I don't think I would put these together, but I'm just using them as a sample.
Yeah.
Because they're left over.
Right. If anything, you'd maybe do that. Right. Like that feels a little better
Genius.
than the red.
Yep.
No, it's
That's true. Yeah. And then the other thing that I realized, Jen, when I was making this is that at first I thought these little center diamonds should be all kind of
Which are these
neutral.
guys.
Yeah. All those guys. So
Which
I
is the
was
secondary pattern.
That's the secondary pattern. So I was using it was sort of boring. I was just using all of the lights and grays. And so all of a sudden it started looking like headlights. It was causing too much.
So those secondary patterns.
That's right.
Which I'm going to just pull up this is in the lookbook. So for those of you guys who've downloaded the free lookbook already or have a physical one, which you can buy on my website, you can see closely of exactly what Michelle's talking about. She's talking about this area, right?
That's right.
So if you only do those as light, they pop too much.
Exactly. And the same thing if they were all dark. So what I started doing then, instead of sewing these corners, which are the pieces that become that secondary design, I started putting this up on the design wall, just the 2 blocks without that. And then I would take, some fabric, and I would just kind of audition, okay, what would it be like if I put this here? Yeah. And then, maybe on the other side here. Yeah.
Yeah, right
so
there.
So it's kind of hard to demonstrate, but in other words, if that would be my little tip if you were making this pattern, would be to leave these corners open and then at the end start auditioning them. And you'll see that by having some light and pretty much a whole spectrum of saturation, it gives them more of a 3-dimensional look, and that's what's so fun about the ombres to play with, because they just start to vibrate.
Yeah, like you didn't know the answer to everything.
Oh no.
You just started making the blocks with the 2 center pieces.
Right.
That was your first commitment.
Right.
Right. And then you would play with however many, 50 of these that you made.
Yeah, probably.
And so you can play because they're not, you can flip-flop them.
Mm-hmm.
Just as long as you're getting the basic arrow.
Yeah,
right?
That's a good way to describe it.
And actually, but you can flip-flop them. They're all flip-floppable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you get the inverted V, so you get the arrow going down and then the arrow going up. So they're super versatile. So in a way, you're doing improv within structure.
Exactly. That's a really good.
Which is like my favorite.
Yeah.
That's like all day long. Improv within structure.
Yes.
So the structure is the block.
Exactly. And the other nice thing about the paper piecing is that these are all cut on the bias. And so you don't take them off. I put the paper with these up on the design wall until I made those decisions about what I was going to sew on the corners. And then I think I still kept the paper on because you came over to the studio, because you don't want to
keep the paper on.
You want to keep it on because it gives the piece stability. It won't get sort of wonky. And then final sewing of the rows. Probably took it off at that point once the rows were decided.
Right, and there's 1, 2, 3. There's 4 rows across.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really fun to make, and a good challenge to have to use colors that aren't like my faves. And that's important, you know, because now they are becoming my faves because I'm realizing how integral they are to making this piece sort of hold together. I don't know, how would you articulate that?
Yeah, so when I challenged her, I said, here, if I give you this, that's the Have to Have It tower, which is all the colors in the Aura Quilt. And you named it, you gave it your own name. What did you name it?
did. Diamond in the Sky.
Diamond
Because
in
it's
the
sky fabric, diamond shape. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, that's cute. I like that.
And, you know, the Beatles or...
Oh yeah. Or, yeah.
Lucy
In the Sky with Diamonds.
Yeah, there you go.
Diamonds, yeah. So here's the colors when they're unpacked, right? And we put them out based on, like, these are the deeper darks, except for this one, I think is, what's this one, Pearl? I think this one's Pearl. That's I forget which color that is. Which one is it? Honey. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's a honey.
That's honey.
That's beautiful.
So here's all the darks, which they, of course, ombre into light. And then here's all, like, the power colors. Here's the brights, right? You've got the purples and the reds and the oranges and the curries. So I remember coming over to her studio, and she had so much fun stuff going on, right? And we had, how many times did we get together? Like twice or once?
I don't know, because we have a
Couple
little bit
times.
of a deadline, so at least once for sure.
I know. She's always such a good sport. And she's like, well, when do you need this by?
Tomorrow?
Yeah. And it's always, it definitely.
It's okay. I need deadlines, personally. I don't know about you folks, but I do. It helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I came over and she had all this fabulousness going on, and she was feeling stuck.
Absolutely.
Like, some areas that I felt a little.
I couldn't see it anymore.
Yeah.
I needed a fresh set of eyes.
Well, that's always great having a friend to make with, because sometimes you do get into a project and you can't see it anymore.
Right. Yeah, and even stepping away from it and coming back, I just was starting to it was getting muddled and confused, and I was probably using all the pretties.
Right,
and forgetting that the gorgeousness of some of these other fabrics that would give the quilt just that final sparkle.
Yeah, and the sparkle comes from contrast, right? So the lights and the darks, and also you can get a little lost in this pattern because your arrows, there is some interesting tricks that go on with value. Are your arrows going up or are they going down? Like here the arrow is going down, and then here the arrow is going up. So that's what's so fabulous about this pattern, is that there is all this room for, in a way, optical illusions.
Yes.
Depending on the contrast. So we kind of worked with feel. I mean, you and I work very similarly.
Yes. I think
We're
so.
not formulaic. We will dive into something not knowing where we're going, and it can be scary.
Yeah, it's an adventure.
It's an adventure, it can be scary, but we don't know where we're going, and that's what makes it so exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It makes it so exciting.
Yeah.
So Michelle brought her notebook.
Oh,
and I just want, like, she kept a note on the work, and that's why is this your quilt notebook?
It is, and I really encourage you to keep one, because, well, first of all, I'll forget if there's a little trick that in fact I had to read it last night, and I realized, oh, that's right, I left all the corners off, and I thought that would be something
That's a great tip.
to pass on. And if I were teaching, that's how I would instruct a student. But so having the notebook, it was a great thing to refer to, because it was a year ago.
Right.
We sort of made this. And what I did also was I photocopied the cover of the pattern, and then I cut it up and just kind of fooled around with a little bit of an idea of what I might do, but with the reflection fabrics, and made it a little bit more to scale.
Oh, so that's different than this.
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
It's different. I wanted
cool.
I wanted the greens more on the bottom, and then
right. Okay.
I actually changed it again from this initial idea, because it ombres up to lighter. It really goes from light to dark in a pretty subtle way.
Right.
But I love that, being able to do that. And I like being able to, that your eye starts following the pattern of the arrow, and then all of a sudden it's interrupted.
Yes.
That's more interesting.
Yeah.
That's more exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was fun.
And yes.
Yeah, it was really fun.
So let's talk about your quilting and your binding. Your binding looks like is it blush?
It's blush. Yeah.
And is it 45 inches? You just kind of did 45-inch strips?
Yeah,
It
exactly.
looks like you just
exactly, and then I
Mhm.
connected them, and then but I did play with having the darker part of blush on
That
opposite corners.
Okay.
And then lighter on opposite corners.
Nice.
So that was the other fun thing, is that the binding was another design element.
Right. Right.
So,
right.
And I love playing also introducing a fabric from the last line. So
yes.
that was
Yes. Yes. Because everything's new here except for the blush.
fun. Yeah. No, the blush really works. So yeah, now I get to integrate all 16 new fabrics because I just got my have to have it bundle, and you have to have it. Okay, you just do. And so I'm just so excited because I'm in the midst of a work in progress, and it's like, oh, this is great. Peony, I've been waiting for you.
Peony, I know. Peony. That's this
yeah.
one. This is peony. This is delicious. And again, we can't even get how beautiful it is. The photograph, like on Instagram, is not as fabulous, but when you see it in person,
You really need to see it live. Look at the subtle light coming through here, just like a sunset or sunrise. I mean, it's just incredible.
and then
It's
this
just
rich.
gorgeous.
Like I literally picked peonies out of my garden this weekend.
Mhm.
They're all this color. They're in my kitchen.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Colette, if there's any questions, let us know, because we have not been watching the questions, so sorry about that. But
Sorry.
I have a question for Michelle. What was the most challenging? Like, at what point were you like, oh, this is really hard? And then what was the easiest? Can you remember?
Gosh, I think it was that point where I couldn't see it anymore, and I was trying to decide what to do with these secondary diamonds and whether to follow a more consistent pattern of the arrows or not, and so I just couldn't. And I think I honestly feel like with every project I get to a point where I just think, oh my God, I'm just
What am I doing?
What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. And who do I think I am that I can make this quilt? There's that doubt that we all go through, part of the creative process, or this really stinks.
It's an integral part of the creative process.
I think so.
The doubt.
Yeah.
I just finished a commission piece.
Mhm.
Halfway through, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah. So that's where to have a quilty friend, or
Yeah.
to be able to push through, or to be part of a quilt group, or an art critique group, really helps, because it
Yeah.
just helps to have some fresh eyes. But you got to feel good about that group too. You don't want people like trampling on your work, like,
No.
take that off, do this.
Yeah.
More of I don't know, just
No,
to
I
get some
totally
perspective.
agree, because I think that's a really good point, because your art group has to be supporting you. If it's people who are just putting you down, or like they're a superior whatever, cut
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, because it's your
Let that go
process.
downstream.
Yeah, it's your process.
It
And
is
it's
your
okay
process.
to be stuck. And sometimes you just get unstuck on your own, just by leaving it alone for a while.
Right. Having a sense of humor.
Absolutely.
And then just getting it done.
Yes.
Right?
This is true.
Right?
Yes.
Just like, okay, that's good enough.
Yes. Yes. So getting it done, the quilting, I just threw on a walking foot. Okay.
Now we're going on.
And I went with, I think, Aura thread that was
Part of the
with the
pack.
part of the pack.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. And kept it really simple, but also emphasized the diamond shape. So
Yeah, I love what you did with
Very
the quilting.
simple.
Simple, but very effective. And you didn't need to over quilt it,
right.
because the fabric, it's beautiful. And right now the sun's coming through the skylights. It's starting to sparkle even more with the fabric.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the quilting was simple. Yeah. Anything else that I can think of?
I don't know, Colette, has there been any questions, Colette? Let me see. Look, how many, what's
Good
it say?
job,
How many
Colette.
various flowers go with it, Master? Oh, oh, how marvelous the flowers. Sorry, I'm trying to read it. Yes, so my son just graduated from high school, and we've had quite a week, and we had a Hawaiian luau graduation party. Those are thanks to a dear friend, brought over all the arrangements, so I am maximizing the use of these gorgeous arrangements. But they go so pretty.
It's brilliant.
So
really
pretty.
Yeah, so these hadn't been released yet, but now that they are, oops, I just wrecked this box. Okay. I might have to buy it. So yeah, these are the threads, the Aura Quilt threads that go with reflection.
Yes.
And that's nice if you want to, you love your design and you need to quilt it, and the quilting's going to add some texture, but you don't necessarily want to break up too much of the line. It's great to use the colors that you released with your
fabric. And we actually have the kit for sale on the website, and it comes with the Have to Have It pack, and it does not come with a pattern. So you need to buy the pattern from Allison Glass, and it was of course designed by Allison Glass and Nydia Kenley. Kenley. And then so what you get is you do not get the pattern, but you do get a really high quality printout from us showing color placement. So if you want to do what Michelle did, good luck. It won't ever be the same because you're not going to cut it out the same, but you can study how she did placement.
What kind of paper did you use again?
The Carol Dokes. From the Carol Dokes is the hottest selling product of CNT Publishing, and for good reason. It's a wonderful, lightweight, easy to tear, easy to see through. For paper piecing and foundation piecing.
Yeah, it really is. And I also shorten my stitch length. Do you do that when you're paper piecing?
Yeah. I shorten it a bunch.
Yeah, and then that way it's just easier to tear. It perforates this paper and pops right off. Because you do want to be careful when you're tearing this off. Again, you've got fabric that's cut on the bias, and it will shift around. So you want to be careful when you're pulling your paper off.
Right.
But the small stitch length helps with that. So that's another little tip.
So follow Michelle. It's Hummingbird Textiles.
That's right. Hummingbird_textiles.
Hummingbird_textiles. And she, her husband's a creative as well.
Yes.
Her whole family. She comes from a creative background. Your posts are always really beautiful and inspiring and very real.
Yeah. Thank you.
What's next?
Oh gosh. Well, so I was very fortunate to be able to go to Santa Fe on a live workshop. Isn't that wonderful that they're happening again?
Oh, I know.
Through Madeline's School of the Arts with Jennifer, and we did a deep dive into learning about Georgia O'Keeffe, her life. We went to the museum there, the museum, and then we also did some hiking in the beautiful mountains and on Ghost Ranch. Yeah. Where she ended up living a majority of her life, and just sort of took in the light and the colors, and it was a real privilege to be able to do that. So I did start a piece that's influenced by, she did a series on oak leaves. So that's sort of personally for me special, because I grew up in a house with a big, huge oak tree, and so I'm working on that.
Okay,
and I'd like
she
to do
did
a
bring
series.
it. We should
It's
just
kind
show
of
it.
a hot mess, but we can try.
Okay, she did bring it, and
it's
really fabulous.
Well, yeah, I mean, so this was the inspiration picture.
Okay, so this is the inspiration. That is Georgia O'Keeffe's, called Oak Leaves, Pink and Gray, painted in 1929.
Yeah.
And then this is Michelle's piece that she's working on. Look at this oh my gosh, look at this beauty.
So, and these, I actually brought these back from Santa Fe. There's probably plenty of oak leaves
in
California.
Let's show the oak leaves.
But
those are oak leaves she collected in Santa Fe.
The shape is so amazing to me. And look at this gorgeous bison, the lighter value of bison here that when I first was introduced to, I wasn't very nice to, because I didn't like it. Now I love it. And then when I finally got some peony, I started pinning that up, and oh my gosh, that's going to be...
The peony is beautiful.
Yeah, that's really going to be great. So, yeah, it's a work in progress, a labor of love, and I'd love to do a series.
A series would be great.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it would be.
And she's really
fun.
kind of mastering her curves, and this is no pattern. She is just creating this. We were calling this a very spicy project. You will
Yeah.
remember in Santa Fe we had
Yeah.
mild, medium, and spicy.
Yes.
And she went right into spicy.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did. No, it's really, and so I guess what next is, personally, yes, that's what I'm doing, but I really feel like it would be wonderful to, and getting back to teaching, there's so many wonderful places for us to hike and be in nature in the Bay
Right.
Area. And I think it would be great to, I taught kids for a long time. I have a Montessori credential and raised 3 kids, have 3 little grandkids, just,
Oh,
you know,
they're
if you-
so cute.
I can only send you a picture if you email me because I don't post them. But anyway, getting back to kids and nature and art and healing, that there's something stirring in me to do that, and to make it accessible to adults as well. I think that that's something that I'd like to explore doing. I was really lucky that I could travel and do this great workshop in Santa Fe, but not everybody can do that. So
Right.
how can we make some workshops accessible for all kinds of folks who want to just beginners to
Yep.
advanced, who want to take a walk in nature, be inspired by the color and the texture, by the sky, and then yeah, so that's percolating.
Yeah. Good. Well, was there any questions, Colette, that you noticed that came up?
Everyone's loving your Georgia piece.
Oh wow.
Oh, awesome.
That's great. I'll keep going because I was a little bit at that point where, oh my goodness, what am I doing? So thanks, folks. That's great.
Yeah. It's yeah. I can't. Once we get offline, we're gonna really delve into this George O'Keeffe piece. But thanks everyone. Oh, there's so much waves. You guys are so cute. Thank you. And if you want to make the Aura Quilt Diamonds in the Sky, we just order it online and Colette will ship it off to you. Thank you to Michelle. She is a true artist and just a lovely human being.
Aww.
And it's really nice to have you in person here. I mean,
It's really
we
fun.
see each other, a couple times a month or at least once a month.
Yeah,
But to be on live is fun.
it was fun.
Yeah, so
really a
thanks.
treat. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for having me.
Yeah.
And for all of your support and for this amazing fabric that I'm just absolutely loving.
Ah,
Yeah.
good. Well, I know she'll make a bunch more stuff. So stay tuned. And thanks for coming today. See you later. Okay, I always have how do I get off of this? I'm like, Colette. Oh no. Colette, what do I do?
We're still live.